Warriors, rise! A new world order for the stock market, explains BlackRock CIO. We're going to break this down. Now, here's the thing, Warriors. As the poor or middle class become much poorer, the rich during pandemics, and as we look this way, become much wealthier. Now, with interest rates going up and inflation going through the roof, what they do is they adjust their moves in order to catch that influx of money. They're always one step ahead of us up until now. Back in 1929 or the 1900s, hear ye, we had to wait till a paperboy came along and it was way too late. Now they know that we have these technologies and these tools to do research. But here's the thing. This is where distractions come from. They understand that we have these tools. So boom, Will Smith smacks Chris Rock. There's going to be plenty of black swan events to get you to keep your head turned this way as they adjust their investments, their strategy this way. And so as you turn your head back, your 401k collapses, your job is no longer here anymore, leveraged towards technology. They got their bags packed waiting for you on the other side of the road, and the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So I'm here to guide you, asking you not to trust a word I say, trust the feeling and vibration it creates in your body and act accordingly. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm just documenting exactly what I am doing in the quantum financial system, okay? By doing 8 to 9 hours a day of research and having my team of 13 people and 27 people total with the volunteers, we work all day to make sure that we have the right information as we move into this quantum financial system. So you can click the link down below to join our free Discord to get in the conversation. And if you want to jump right in the game, join 3twarrior.com. You not only can get access to my team, but also our 120-day challenge to help you get your shit together. All right, so let's jump right into it. So I'm going to read through this. Very, very important. Now, when we hear the word New World Order, we all think nefarious. But why are they using that word New World Order? So let's take nefarious out of it. Let's just take a deep breath and understand that we are moving into a new world of finance, a new world of technology, a new world of jobs and how we interact, how we receive our food, how we rent homes, how we rent cars. We went from hotels to Airbnbs, went from taxis to Ubers. We're going from centralized banking systems to decentralized banking systems. But what the big banks are going to do is they're going to catch your decentralization by becoming financial inclusion. Warriors, it's all hats and tricks to move you into this new financial system because you're not paying attention. Your family members are not paying attention. You listening to us are such a small percentage of the population. So kudos to you. Okay, so a new world order for the stock market is coming, explains BlackRock CEO. I'm just going to read this part and then we're going to listen to the last part of the moves that they're making. And I'm going to take it from my experiential standpoint on what I think they're doing. Excuse me, that's my manifestation alarm. What are the steps to 1 million month income? What are the steps to 1 million month income? What are the steps to 1 million month income? Hold it for 17 seconds. That's a Nikola Tesla manifestation technique. If you watch my videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. So I won't hold it for 17 seconds because you're watching this video. Okay. So making money in the stock market will likely look different, likely. Hell yeah. Over the next few years compared to the low interest rate. This is very, very important. The low interest rate area seen from the end of the great financial crisis, says BlackRock CIO. Now remember, BlackRock is the juggernaut. Wherever they move, the markets go. Okay, so they're changing their strategies because the low interest rate environment and the money printing machine allowed them to get into riskier, high return stocks. But those companies are going to dry up very, very quickly. So they're changing their strategy to safer, more fundamental, long-term strategy, because with interest rates going up, you're going to have to be a real company, an actual real company with real utility, real leadership teams to survive this. So think about your crypto portfolio. The cryptos that you're in, are they real world solves? Are they going to last through regulation? Do they have a proper leadership team and board of directors that are connected highly to this banking system and this new infrastructure? Because they're not going to run from this infrastructure. I promise you. They will figure it out a way to get their hands in it. Trust me, they will figure out a way to get their hands in it. So let's listen to his strategy as BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, moves into this new quantum financial system.
Is recession talk, Tony, anywhere? Are you talking about this amongst your teams? Are you positioning for it at all, or we're just overblowing it?
Yeah, so I think it's important to be talking about it and to be thinking about it. I think it's way too premature. even if you look at the inversion that happened last week, it was short-lived. And even then, inversions don't spell recessions for usually, stocks continue to go up for another 24 months. So I do think it's early, but it's not too early to be building greater resiliency in your portfolios, right? So don't panic. A recession's not imminent, but do think about building more resilience in your portfolio. And the ways you do that is to up the quality, to buy companies with healthy balance sheets, strong free cash flow, good businesses with good moats around them. And then when we think about a portfolio, we always think in terms of a barbell. Cyclicals on one hand.
Okay, so I wanted you guys to hear that part, what he said. They're looking for healthy balance sheets, true liquidity, and companies that are actually going to be here after this pandemic ends. And here's why. Okay, this is what he's saying, in my opinion. So this is the Warren Buffett indicator. As you can see, let me get myself back on the screen. I'll be leaning forward on my home office here. So I'll be leaning forward because my microphone's right here. It's good to have that facial connection or connection to my movements and face and stuff like that, so we can build a connection. So the Warren Buffett indicator is at 199% overvalued stock market. So what he's talking about is the printing machine's been turned on full blast pretty much since 2008, right? Since this big collapse happened, and all of a sudden Bitcoin was created in 2009, which is interesting. All the elites are moving into Bitcoin. Interesting. I don't know if there's a connection, but there's been so many overvalued businesses because of this printing of money. There's a bunch of junk bonds out there, right? They stopped the quantitative easing, which is the printing of money. They started to pull back on those bond purchases. Interest rates are going up and inflation is going up. So what's happening is the elites, the big money, are changing their investment strategy. And that should be the same for you in regards to cryptocurrency. Fundamental, real world solves, real world leadership teams, because here's what's coming. Okay, so recession shock is coming. Bank of America warns. And there was another article by the Crypto Potato. Go check it out. Where I don't know where they found that, but I couldn't find anything in here. But it says in the Crypto Potato, they said their headline said recession shock is coming. Bank of America warns, and crypto is basically the hedge. I'm paraphrasing that. Here's why they're all changing their strategy. Okay, so I'm going to work to not to clown anybody. I'm not left. I'm not right. But these are the people that are leading our country. Look at her voice inflection. Look at her lack of confidence. No disrespect, but look at her lack of confidence. But she's going to talk about CPI, which is Consumer Price Index, and they're going to blame all this on Putin.
Time I can see if there's more to report out to you for the end of the day. Go ahead.
As far as CPI day, it's probably obviously going to capture the start of the war and pretty significant spikes in energy. Can you give us a sense of what you're expecting and what, if any, change this will make for what talks may or may not be going on with the Hill on what?
Okay, so one thing you want to look at her lack of confidence, how she just shuffles papers around. It's like just watch the behaviors.
Pieces that may or may not be passed, or a bill that may or may not have a name. I don't know what
Sounds very hypothetical and hopeful. Okay.
How high do you expect these numbers to be?
Sure. No, I
attack on the strategy to pass what you believe to
sure.
be inflation cooling measures.
Yes, I understand your question. So because of the actions we've taken to address the Putin price hike, we are in a better place than we were last month. But we expect March CPI headline inflation to be extraordinarily elevated due to Putin's price hike. And we expect a large difference between core and headline inflation, reflecting the global disruptions in energy and food markets. So core inflation doesn't include energy and food prices. Headline inflation does. And of course, we know that core inflation, energy, the impact of energy, of course, on oil prices, gas prices, we expect that to continue to reflect what we've seen the increases be over the course of this invasion. And just as an example, since President Putin's military buildup accelerated in January, average gas prices are up more than 80 cents. Most of the increase occurred in the month of March, and at times gas prices were more than $1 above pre-invasion level. So that roughly 25% increase in gas prices will drive tomorrow's inflation reading. And certainly it's not a surprise to us, but we certainly think it will be reflected. And in March, again, to give you a point of comparison, the average cost of a barrel of oil was around $110. That's compared to about $75 at the beginning of the year. So we expect this to all be reflected as we look at the data tomorrow. I will say that.
Okay. How many times did she say the Putin invasion? The Putin invasion, like literally they're blaming this on Putin. They're blaming this. So this is President Biden Putin's invasion of Ukraine has driven up gas prices, food prices all over the world. 70% of increases in prices in March came from Putin price hike. I'm doing everything I can to bring down the prices addressed in the Putin price hike. What are you doing? Share with us. What are you doing? What I mean, Warriors, all by design. Okay. Now, I love Robert Kiyosaki. He's getting a little irritated in his older age, which is respectfully because, he's been here to free people for a very long time. You can feel the irritation coming from him because, he's at the later age of his life. And listen to what he says. He's been warning us about this for a very long time. Listen to this. This should start to alarm you a little bit in your preparation for what's coming.
Perspective, like I've been saying to people, silver is still 50% its all-time high of $50 is $25. But the question is, if a can of tuna hits $25, what does silver go to? And that's what I'm concerned about. And and every year, every time you talk to me, Danielle, I wish I had better news, but it gets worse. It just gets worse.
And on that note, I don't know how many times I've interviewed you now, countless over, the span of 10 years. And I don't think I've ever seen you so concerned, so vocal. I've been reading it and all your latest tweets. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars. Biden slaps Putin on the world stage. It's toxic masculinity. The world is in trouble. The national debt is going to go through the roof. Biden is causing inflation and blaming Putin. Dollar's about to implode. I want to talk about that with you. So you're saying buy more gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana before this World War III. Okay, so there's a lot of thoughts there. So let's start with the dollar that you say is on the verge of imploding. How far out are we from that? And what will be the catalyst, the major catalyst? There's a lot, but what is it for you?
Well, this is a guy, Jordan Peterson, he's a Canadian. And he talks about, he says, you think tough men are dangerous. And Trump was a tough man. But he says, watch what weak men will do. And this guy, Biden, is the worst I have ever seen. Man is senile. And today what's happening is Russia and China are now ganging up on the U.S.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Please go watch Daniel Cambone's Stansberry Research, one of the best channels out there besides ours, of course. Just a beautiful channel, beautiful information, beautiful soul. She's an amazing soul, and her work is fantastic. Okay, so let's dive into this White House. So let's recap what he just talked about. Basically talking about silver, getting into, this is why they're all moving into Ethereum, Bitcoin. A lot of us are heavily in altcoins. I'm in Ethereum, XRP. So I'm in Ethereum and the ISO 20002 tokens, right? Not all of them. I got Algorand, XLM, XRP. All this stuff is in our academy as well. My whole portfolio is in there. This is not financial advice. I'm just like the CIO of BlackRock. I'm looking at fundamental, real world solve, practical leadership teams, not a bunch of fucking meme coins, warriors. Like, this whole pump and dump and even like, for example, we have an NFT company called Collective. We're creating an NFT company that has real world solve, real world utility, building real businesses within that ecosystem. We're working to demystify all this cryptocurrency stuff. Okay. So White House in damage control mode as crypto market braces for 8% plus inflation. This is, so they keep saying Putin, Putin, Putin. It's because they're doing damage control from all the shit they left us in by printing money to oblivion. So Biden just got the hot potato. Literally, they handed it to him to literally sink US into the ground and lose our dollar dominance. Basically, that's what they're doing up until this next election. And then I don't know where it's going to go from there, warriors. That's going to be a critical time in America's history. A critical, but expect a lot of black swans as they move us into this new quantum financial system, okay? So they're blaming it on Putin for all the damage that they did. They have to have a scapegoat, right? And then they're going to be so problem, reaction, solution. And who gets hurt? It's what narcissists do. They create a problem, they create a reaction, and then they're like, oh, you're all screwed up, but here's a solution for you, right? We're going to make sure you rent everything. We're going to make house prices so high that you can't afford to buy a house, interest rates so high that you have to rent from us, and you're going to have to combine families. Oh, and then we're going to mess up your food supply so you can't even buy food. So you're going to be stuck in your job. You can't put gas in your car. You can't buy food, and you're going to be broke as shit, and you got to do whatever we say. or you can get involved in the biggest shift in generational wealth. US inflation jumps 8.5% in the past year, highest since 1981. Get your shit together, warriors. This is not a game. This is not a game. This is real shit. That is your job. You're just over broke income going down every single second. Here it is. Here's a visual. 2012, inflation 1.7. 2013, 1.5. You can see we had a little jump here in 2000. Where was 2008 at? So that was after 2008. They've just kept inflation so high. There's been no growth in our economy, wars. They've just been printing money, burying you guys in debt, burying you guys, to me included. I'm part of this. What am I saying? Us. Okay. 2021, all of a sudden we had a pandemic. And then, whoa, interest rates, 2000. We're not going to raise rates. We're not going to raise rates. Now they're raising rates. Inflation's going through the roof, 8.5. And they call it this transitory, where we're going to come back to 2%. They're basically running inflation. They're raising interest rates. Who gets money when interest rates go up? Banks, the elites. The money goes into them and they're changing their investment strategy. As you sit in your, you're just over broke in your 401k and your old paradigm investing. He's literally saying, we're going into a new paradigm of investing, new world order of investing. We're switching our strategy. So here's what hyperinflation looks like if we get there. Hyperinflation refers to the rapid under restrained price increase in an economy, typically rates exceeding 50% each month over time. Hyperinflation can occur in times of war or economic turmoil, an underlying production economy in conjunction with a central bank printing excess amount of money. Hyperinflation can be a surge in price of basic goods such as food, fuel, as they become scarce. Okay, what's happening? Let me read that again. Hyperinflation can cause surge in prices for basic goods such as food and fuel as they become scarce. What's happening in Shanghai right now? They are literally in a C word narrative again, and they're literally locking these people down. Food crisis happening right now. We have a fuel crisis happening right now. The normal everyday person is not going to be able to afford to live. This is the greatest time in human history for a lot of us, and it's going to be the worst time in human history. Your kids are going to feel the pebble that you throw in the pond right now. Look me in the eyes. Your kids are going to feel the pebble or the lack of pebble or the lack of responsibility or the lack of activation that you do right now. This is not a game. This is our lives. That's why you see, go watch Robert Kiyosaki. He's starting to get really irritated. You can tell because he's getting in his older age, right? And you can tell he's all gloves off, man. Because they're switching their investment strategy. Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of these altcoins, right? They're getting into gold. They're getting into silver. The CIO said that we're switching our strategy to healthcare. Healthcare will always be here because we're a sick society. They keep us sick. Well, why does BlackRock say that? Because they dominate the medical industry, the pharmaceutical. They dominate the media. So they can move any way we want to. So there's a health crisis. So of course he's going to put it into health because what's going to be jacked up? Mental health. We're all going to be freaking losing jobs, or people are going to be losing their houses. So people are going to be on medication. They're going to be sick. They're going to be in hospitals. So he's moving his strategy to what they're going to do is make people sick. So warriors, click the link down below. Join the conversation in our free Discord. We love you. We appreciate you. We're here to support you. As we always say, warriors, get your shit together. Check out our 8 o'clock Good Morning Crypto show.